In this video, I want to talk about why I don't think biological parents are at all qualified to create someone into existence. And I don't mean they're not qualified in the way that you're not qualified to drive a car if you don't have a driver's license, right? Some people say parents aren't qualified because they're not good at managing their finances or conflict resolution or something like that. I agree with all of that, but there's a much more fundamental way that parents aren't qualified to be creating someone into existence. And it's this way. Pronatalists or biological parents act almost as a salesperson for life. When you create someone, you are inherently saying, or implicitly, or sometimes explicitly saying, that you think life is good enough to create someone into. You're being a salesperson for life. And not just to the point where you're saying it's good, to the point where you are forcing it onto someone. That person doesn't get to choose if they buy this product. This is a product you are trying to sell, and you can just simply force it on that person. The cost of that product is very real suffering that they will go through throughout their life, and the risk of extreme suffering, and obviously they will die as well. And there's no genuine way to actually return that product short of ending your own life. Now, this is all painting a picture of how serious a thing creating someone is, and it's much more serious than just trying to sell something to someone like a normal salesperson would. But the reason that pronatalists or parents aren't qualified to be this salesperson fundamentally is because they actually don't understand the product that they are selling or forcing on people. And there are two ways that they fundamentally don't understand the product that they are forcing on someone. The first is that pronatalists or parents, and going forward I'm just going to say pronatalists, create people and force them into life, essentially being the salesperson for life, when they haven't even experienced all of life. I mean, by definition, if you're creating someone, your life hasn't ended yet. You haven't experienced all of it. And actually, the vast majority of people will create someone when they're actually quite early on in their life. So there's loads of this product, life, that they are selling someone or forcing someone to take on that they haven't even experienced. And often the worst parts of the product that you are forcing onto people do tend to accumulate near the end that you haven't experienced yet. And yet they are taking it upon themselves to be the salesperson for this product that they hardly know anything about and force it onto others. How in any way can we say that this person is an informed salesman or informed saleswoman for the product that they are forcing onto others? It's complete negligence. And yet every time someone announces a pregnancy, we congratulate them rather than hold them to account for taking an extremely risky action with limited information where the person who bears the consequences isn't them. Those people who choose to create other people don't have adequate knowledge and understanding of the thing that they are forcing that person into. They've not experienced all of it themselves, and they act under many, many psychological biases. If this person were an actual salesperson selling something much more trivial than life, we would say they weren't qualified to sell that product. The second way that I think pronatalists aren't qualified to be selling the product of life is that even if, in some weird way, they had been able to experience all of their life before creating someone else, they've only experienced their life. They are not experiencing the life of the person they will create, and they have no idea how that life will turn out. There are some broad assumptions they may be able to make about it, but they can't make actual accurate predictions about what this person's life will be like. There are all manner of things that can go wrong that are completely out of your control. You may have the best of intentions, but your child's life is not going to go exactly the way that you wish it to be. Otherwise, the world would be a much nicer place than it actually is. So those are two ways that I think pronatalists or biological parents are completely unqualified to be creating someone else and being the salespeople for life. They haven't experienced it in a meaningful sense to be able to inform their actual decision or their action to create someone, but also even if they had, they'd be creating a whole separate life to the one that they have experienced. And somehow they think that their own life experience is a good enough piece of information to warrant imposing large amounts of suffering on someone by creating them. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.